What a going good is welcome back to your girl channel. Today I am going to be making some Jamaican style brown stew fish. Yeah man. So here as you can see I have two nice snappers, well washed and cleaned. So what I'm doing here, I am just drying them because I'm gonna fry them and I want the water to be dried off the fish before I actually season them. So just use a napkin or a dish towel to dry them, and make sure so you wash your fish in some lime, okay? All right, so let's get straight into the seasoning of the fish. So you can see I have two incisions on the sides of the fish. That helps to get the season down. So we are going to add some chicken seasoning, and I'm using the Maggie chicken seasoning. You can use the fish seasoning, the Maggie fish, or the Maggie all-purpose. I'm using some smoked paprika, and I'm just using about a teaspoon each to season these two fish. I'm going in with some garlic powder, onion powder mix. And now I'm going to go in with my Cajun seasoning. This is not traditional, but I love Cajun seasoning. So I'm just going to add a little bit to my fish. You know, sometimes you have to be creative and switch up the thing, alright? Okay, so now I'm going with some garlic plus because I love garlic. So I'm going to add a little bit of my garlic plus, so just garlic powder with some herbs. I normally use a garlic pepper powder as well. If you have that one, you can use that one as well. I'm going in now with my chicken seasoning. You can use all-purpose seasoning if you don't want to add the chicken seasoning to your fish. So you can use the all-purpose, but I'm adding the chicken seasoning. All right. So as you can see, it is looking beautiful, well covered in the season. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make sure that the incisions that I put on the sides, that I get some of that nice seasoning down in there. And then I'm going to also make sure that the other side of the fish is nicely covered in the seasoning as well. And you want to make sure that inside of your fish gets seasoned. So every scripts and knuckles and corners of your fish, season it. Season the head, because if you're a person that eats fish head like me, you want to get some season up in there as well. Actually, the fish head is the best part of the fish for me. So let me know in the comment section if you love fish head as well. Alright, so as you can see, my frying pan upon the stove. I'm going to go fry my fish them now. The oil is nice and hot. Make sure see your oil nice and hot. And don't move your fish for the first minute or two because you don't want to mash them up. So we're going to fry these on both sides. Don't worry about the seasoning that you see on the fish after you fry it. All that little black stuff that you see on the fish, that's just the seasoning, and when you're going to cook it down, it's going to really come off. So I have some vegetable here prepared, some other seasoning. We Jamaicans will say ground seasoning. So I have bell peppers, I have some hot pepper, I have scallion, I have carrots, ginger. I'm going to add some pumpkin, and I'm also going to add some Irish potatoes. So you can add all of the nice vegetables that you like to this fish. So here I have my pot, and I just added a little bit of butter to give it a little buttery taste. Yeah man, as you notice, I didn't add any salt because the seasoning have a lot of salt, and the butter that I'm using have salt as well. So I just put the fish back into the pot with the butter, just to make some butter get nice, and let it covered nicely in the butter. So here, as you can see, I added some soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and some oyster sauce to my fish. Don't want to add a lot because these as well, they have salt, but I'm using the low sodium. So as you can see, goodies, now I'm going to be adding some slices of ginger. Yeah man, you can add ginger paste if you have that. You want to add some pepper. This is optional, hot pepper, because I like things spicy. So now I'm going to add some water to cook the fish. You want to add just a little bit of water. You don't need much water for two fish, okay? As you can see, the water is not even covering the fish because we're going to cover the pot and let that sweat. All right, so what I like to do, I like to wait until the water is bubbling before I add my other stuff. So as you can see, I'm adding the Irish potatoes and the pumpkin. You can use squash because this is squash, I believe. So I'm using the squash. I'm adding the squash and the Irish potatoes. I'm adding my seasoning at a later time. I don't want to add everything at once because some cook before some, and I like to have a little bit of crisp on some of my other stuff like my carrots, so I won't be adding those. I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and also I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar to balance things off. So here I am adding my okras. As you can see, as I said before, I don't want to add everything at once because some of the vegetables cook before some, and I want to have a crunch on them. So I'm adding the carrots as well. Look how beautiful that fish is looking already, and it's not even done yet. So after you add your carrots and your okras, we are going to cover this down and leave it for another about 3 to 4 minutes. And then we're gonna add the rest of our seasoning. So as you can see now, goodies, it's been about 3 minutes. Remove the cover, and I'm just dumping in all of my other vegetables, my bell peppers, my onions that I have, and I'm just going to leave this now to cook for about about 2 or 3 more minutes. You don't need a lot of time now because as you can see, the gravy went down as well, and that's looking amazing. Okay, goodies, as you can see, it is finished. Now it's time to dish out our food, and I'm going to have this with some quinoa and some broccoli and some mashed potato. Let me know what you think about this recipe. If you will be trying my Jamaican recipe, let me know. Thank you for watching. Until next time, God bless you and walk good.